I mean, how do I describe it? It's
bold,
A light.
black,
unapologetically black.
Very funny, amusing,
Caring.
You give great advice from a different perspective. Passionate,
free.
vulnerable,
A creative.
sexy.
My girl is lit as fuck.
Always ready to twerk a little something.
genuine, very genuine,
resilient.
like sixth sense, otherworldly. If you know, you know.
It's so vibrant, baby. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Soul Vibrant, the place where music, history, and culture collide. I am your host, Lady AC, and I hope you guys had a good week, had a great weekend, and just, trying your best to just continue to thrive and make the best decisions in that moment to get you to the very next day. I remember laughing with a friend about about this video that was saying, like, when people talk to each other or you be in those settings, of professional settings, people ask you yourself, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I remember seeing this video on Instagram of this guy basically saying, honey, 5 years, just the way life has been in this year of 2024, I'm living hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second. So I'm not planning nothing. I'm just trying to get to the very next moment. So if that is your life right now, if that is your essence right now, trust me, I feel you, and I hope that you are going ultimately just thriving and growing, and just hey, we doing the best you can, and that's all you can do. So so with that, today's topic, I tend to use myself a lot as an example because, for one, I master, and the only thing I can fully confidently talk about is myself. So, but I also find it makes something more relatable and easier to connect with when you share and be vulnerable about your own experiences. Honestly, it's refreshing to hear a different perspective of things. And so with me personally, I realized that in my healing journey that I had let a lot of things stop me from reaching the best self that I could be, especially during that time when I stepped away from media and really dived into trying to support myself and keep up with the demands of capitalism and all this stuff that we're dealing with, and around that, honestly, emotionally, mentally, being affected by the things going on around the world and around us, with all these different genocides, all the injustices. At the time of you hear this recording, the election is still going on, child. The many different angles and text messages. Oh my God, them text messages. Yeah, okay. Regardless of what side you on, can we all agree that them text messages are egregious? Oh my God, I'm telling you, like, these people who are sending these political text messages are bold. Like, so bold. Like, how you gonna come at me sideways? How'd you get my number in the first place? Talking about we text you 7 times and you ain't said nothing. Like, who are you? Like, what? But but in all seriousness, there's so many different things going on, and it's affecting us mentally and can really knock us up off our game, or really can take us away from the healing and the much needed progress that we're trying to make as individuals. I want to encourage you to still push and to be on the best direction in yourself, and in order to do that, you have to be honest with yourself. Ask yourself those tough questions first. And in doing that, in my process, I realized that I am a recovering overachiever. Even deeper than that, I realized actually the overachieving was was merely an extension of a deeper problem, which I classify as being a good girl. Yep, you heard me right. Being a good girl. And what exactly does that mean? Basically, the girl who follows the rules, the girl who, does what everybody expects of her and is told, the good girl that is the good daughter, the good sister, the good, in some cases, the good wife, the good companion that always puts other people's needs before their own in order to, in the way it's portrayed for them to feel good about themselves. But ultimately and unfortunately, the only person that isn't being served by that is the good girl herself. And you realize that it impacts so much of your identity, that impacts so much of your growth and your healing and your peace when you start to move and live like that. And I realized on my healing journey that what was stopping me a lot from really growing and who I am, I had to break away from that mode. So today's episode is titled Confessions of a Former Good Girl. Cause who child? Oh, I had some confessions that ultimately became lessons that I am actively applying today, but helped me deeply on my healing and still help me on my healing. So we're gonna put a pin in that. So meditate on that for a second. Enjoy this great independent artist, and we'll be right back. Okay?
Push the pedal to the max, shit. Ain't gon' give her gas, cause she really ain't that bad. Focus on the plan, shit. Never show your hand, niggas watching from the stands. Quick to turn the hater to a fan. In the stash, couple checks that ain't cash. I'm just adding to the bag, trying to do a little math. Subtract the fakes and try to multiply the bands. Understand, Uncle Sam ain't taxing like I gam shit. Double up the funds, had to get it off my hands, shit. I get bitches by the Tuesday, come in tandems. I can't help it if she choose, she think I'm handsome. Ain't romancing, drive this bitch like I'm a crash, shit. But I'm not, gone to the stars. A nigga up so high, I'm about to moon, walk on Mars. Paper stuff like cigars. Got a couple homies pulling quick like they guards. Stone just because. When I was born, I was made in a vibe. I feel like I'm getting everything that's coming to me. You can meet me where I'm at, but I don't plan to stay long. I have a passport to get paid when I say songs. Work on my healing so I don't have to play strong. What good is a mention to have the people's attention to what I say if I don't speak these words with intention? 4 to 5 live reporting from your third dimension. Peace and blessings over apprehension. Did I mention? I'm nice with the mic control. Rhyme and meditation, that's breath control. But more important now is self-control. How much of the decision making will your wealth control? Choose your master wisely, fam, and God bless your soul. Arm, leg, arm, head, the body human. Gotta keep the soul fed, my body human. I walk amongst the living dead. Sometimes I'm comatose, but still I keep my soul fed.
right, and we are back. That was MDS and Shalom Little with Love the Life You Have. Very good song right there. Good song too. But like I always say, or like I said last episode, you know, I'm going to say that about all the songs because I just love them. So what I've done is decided to take the things I've learned and create different lessons that I want to share with you guys. Hopefully that can help you on your journeys as well, as much as they help me. So like I said, I call this my list. These are confessions that became lessons. So in no particular order, let's start with number one. Number one is my confession. Mistakes don't automatically equal punishment. Now, one thing of being a good girl or being an overachiever or being things is that you have to give your best self. Like I stated, you have to be your utmost, always push forward, always push through, always have it together. Especially shout out to my older children. The older child, shout out to us. You know, we are the blueprint. We were the trial and error. Trial error babies, as I call it. We automatically are put on, have that pressure put on us to be the best, to show up, to be the representative of, you know, how good our parents raised us, or, you know, or how good our families are, or what they're not, or even in some cases, what they're not. So we're supposed to be the opposite of them and do better than them. You know, when we go out into the world, if that goes unchecked, we start to apply that same philosophy to every area of our lives. And I would say for me, I did that. So, you know, I always push to be my best. I always push to show up, because for me to perform well gave me security, gave me love, gave me, you know, the support I thought I needed. But not realizing that in doing that, I started to shape and mold my thoughts, my personality, my way of life, just my thought process started to, while I did have moments, of course, peaks of within myself and my personality and things I'm interested in were there. In the back of my mind, there was always this, make people proud of me. I have to, in order to be seen, I have to do this well. I have to get the good grades. I have to, you know, follow the rules and do what is expected of me and all those things. But what you don't realize is when you live like that, you start to lose the essence of who you are. When you start becoming more aligned, it does counter the programming that you've been taught. It does count, and it's supposed to counter, because honestly, that is honestly a healthy way for you to navigate and to grow and to come and become the things that honestly teach you right and wrong, a sense of morality, a sense of connection to yourself. And if you don't hit those marks, that can make you be disconnected within you, who you are. And that's one thing. You can't avoid mistakes, but when you are an overachiever, when you are a people pleaser, when you are a good girl, you know, mistakes are the worst hurdles. All the trials and tribulations that you do not want to come up against, because that means automatically you fail. You didn't do good enough. You aren't good enough. You're not worthy. You won't be protected. And after a while, the mistakes equal, and the results of that is the punishment. Is you deserve what happens to you. You deserve to fail. You deserve, like, that's the thought process that happens. And the examples I give is that, especially like I said, the good girl mentality bled into different areas of my life. And where it really did show up when it came to mistakes was my professional life. When I worked at jobs that, you know, I was put in professional setting, whenever I made a mistake, I took that hard. And I took it as, but unfortunately, me taking it hard, it made me push to overachieve. That made me push to want to do better. That made me take every wrong mistake I made personally, And I felt I had to change myself, or I had to do this better, or I had to grow this better. And unfortunately, I ran into employers or people who work with me who took advantage of that. Because what people don't realize also, when you don't have a sense of self, when you don't have a grounding, that allows people like the narcissists, like the people who are soul vampires or low vibration, you know, those different words they use nowadays, but just people who, you know, who latch on and want to take that light from you, want to take that healing from you. It makes you so more susceptible to them, which makes you more susceptible to be taken advantage of, to be misled, to be abused, to be manipulated. When you have accepted within your mind that, you know, your mistake is deserving of that, you don't notice that you're being taken advantage of. You feel it. Oh, trust me, I felt it. I knew something is not right about this. Something's not right about you, you know, giving me extra work that ain't in my job description. Something ain't wrong with you, you know, not giving me benefits, but you're working me like a benefit employee. Something is wrong with you talking to me out my, yeah, you didn't call me out my name, but you called me everything else. But because I made that mistake and I had that learning pattern, I wasn't able to advocate for myself. Honestly, you don't learn unless you make mistakes. That actually is a part of learning. That's a part of growing. You are supposed to question, that you are supposed to make mistakes, because everybody's not going to get it right the first time, or you're not always going to automatically click with something. But you have to practice it, and you have to learn it. You can't learn to do something if you don't do it, or if you do it the wrong way. You know how to fix it. So my confession of that is, understand that mistakes are meant to help you get better and to help you learn. Now, if you keep making the same mistake, I'm not talking about that. Now, if you keep making the same mistake after learning, okay, now you're going to have to do some self-reflecting. But on the end, when you just make different mistakes, take those as learning curves. Don't take them personally. Take them as learning opportunities for yourself, and then grow from that. Number 2, this was a very, very rough lesson, confession to accept, but also a very rough lesson to go through. But this one hits hard, so it hit me. But it is, the people I love taught me wrong. Accepting that. Ooh. Hold on, we had to shake on that one. Ooh. Another part is understanding that the people you love, the people who you look up to, they can teach you wrong. Because not on the level just that humans are flawed, but just understanding as well that we are told so many messages constantly. It reminded me of this meme I saw online that basically says, the first step of getting free is admitting that you have a colonized mind. You have to accept that pretty much everything that you understand about the human experience, at every level, is taught to you through a frame of thinking. And that frame of thinking is, like I said, is that white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal mind. And so through that, and through the many different experiences, with me being African American, of course, is you have the enslavement of us, you have Jim Crow, you have the black codes, you have those things. So that on top of just human nature, and then society on top of that, all that shapes the way that we interact with this world. And for every other marginalized community, there are their things that they've been taught too. And then, of course, the way we're taught to interact with each other. And unfortunately, a lot of those messages start in our childhoods. They start from the people we love. They start from the people we look up to. It starts from the people who are in charge to teach us. That's the part that stops a lot of people. Because it's hard, especially if that person who raised you, for 2 reasons. If that person that raised you, you really love and adore, and they're no longer here, they passed away, or they're going on, and so you never had that chance to really have that conversation. But also, if you've been in a traumatic situation, or it has been a lot of chaos or negativity, it's hard to navigate that when you have those experiences. So what my advice or what I've learned from me is that I had to understand that I had to climb up and unlearn all of that in order to know who I was. And how I did that was understanding, first and foremost, going through everything that I believed, going through everything that I thought, going through everything that I personally believed, and asking myself one question: is this really me? And as simple as that question, like, it's true. Is this really me talking, or are these the voices of people who told me this thing? And what I realized, a lot of the things in my healing journey, a lot of the things that I believed, I moved, I engaged with, I talked with, they weren't even mine. They were given to me. A lot of even the ways, to the point of what I thought about myself, or what I thought about what my direction was, what my healing was, where I was going. A lot of that wasn't even my thoughts to begin with. Like, when I really started listening to what I believe, and I wrote down, okay, this is how I feel about this. This is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I love. This is what I do. This is what I want. Like, when I really went through that part of myself and asked myself those questions, I realized a lot of the things I was told were indoctrination and were thoughts and voices of other people. Those voices came from people who you love, who raised me, who I engaged with. And so I had to break down and realize, okay, did I really think this? No. Did I really think this? Yes. Did I really? And you go through that process to where then once you start saying that, then you practice that out loud. And then once you start practicing that out loud and you get to a point where you're comfortable with that, this is where I learned the next lesson that I'm about to tell you. So number 3, become the villain. They'll be all right and you'll be at peace. Whoo, I also had to shake on that one. That aspect came through having a very good conversation with a good friend of mine. And I remember, talking and just venting, having good friends. Oh, that's also another thing. Having people you can talk to about this that keeps you grounded when you're not. Oh my God, that is also a blessing. So this is a blessing, or just valuable to our healing journeys. Having those people you can do this and talk about this stuff with. So I'm lucky to have good friends who would do that. But for some people, that could be a therapist, and some people that you do have a loved one you can reach to and talk to, or family members you can, or you have chosen family that you can. So definitely rely on them and not feel that it's a burden. Because real friends, real people who love you, they're not going to make you feel a burden about how you feel. They used to always tell me that, you know what, honey, sometimes it's okay to be the villain in somebody's story. That's what my friend used to always tell me. It is okay to be the villain in somebody's story if it protects your peace. Because there are times when we finally accept who you are, when you finally negate those feelings, when you finally stop moving the way that benefits so many people, you're going to get a lot of hate. You're going to get a lot of jealousy. You're going to experience a lot of people trying to stop you, because what they want is, they benefited so much from the unhealed you that they want to keep you there, consciously and unconsciously. And you have to get to a point where you realize that this is more important for you. Your healing is more valuable. Even deeper than that, but just on the point, you're able to just be. And sometimes you just have to be okay with people just taking you like, oh, you think you too good. Oh my, you think you changing. Oh, you think you all that. Oh, you think you got something now. Oh, you think. You have to get used to hearing those voices, but understand what's more important is you living freely and unapologetically at you. Because there's nothing more valuable than that. Because guess what? When you get to that point, can't nobody take that from you. They'll try. They'll try. And they'll try to demonize you. They'll try to, hurt you and manipulate you and do all those things to knock you off of that. That's why it may seem like such hate comes so hard. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been told, I'm ungrateful, I'm selfish. Oh, I'm selfish was the record. That was the one hit wonder right there. I'm selfish. I'm evil. I'm wrong. Being in the Bible Belt, I'm going to hell. I've heard. I can't tell you how many times I've been told I'm going to hell in the different ways, but because I chose to stay firm in me, in the direction I was going, and the way I was designed and aligned to be, that I had to get comfortable being the villain, because on the other end of being and accepting and unlearning, there was so much peace within myself, within my mind, within my spirit. Like I felt, like even my body felt it, and that feeling I did not want to go away. So I knew I had to keep going. And so I've taken my friend's advice. Hey, let me put on my let me get bad. Let me be bad. Let me be the villain. Let me, and sometimes, as we see with the movies we watch and stuff, the villain be having a point sometimes. So but you gotta keep that in mind. Oh, where we at? 1, 2, 3. Becoming a villain. Oh yeah. Number 4. Make time to self-reflect, or your body will. Ooh, and emphasis on your body will. Please, on your healing journey, do not be like me and wait till your body physically shuts you down for you to stop and look at yourself in the direction that you're going. My body always gave me signals when it was time to leave, when it was trying to move, when it was time to unlearn something. And I chose to ignore them because I was under the indoctrination I was still, punishing myself for the mistakes. It is tough, especially in the day and age we live, where we basically are working paycheck to paycheck, where we have to find these, we are trying to achieve our dream, but we also have to live. We have to find, keep a roof over our head, keep our gas in our car, keep money in our pocket, pay our bills. But also, there are too many stories of people dying at the office and nobody not knowing that they did, or people knowing that they did but then putting their job up just literally on their job is on LinkedIn by the end of the day. I want us to be able to feel those signs in ourselves, and be able to say, unfortunately, look, I get how capitalism is working, I get how this is working, but me being alive to change it and having the opportunity to change it is worth more. Like, I get it. I trust me, I truly get it, that you have to do what you have to do, but I also am not gonna run my life into the ground before I realize to do that. And trust me, I have taken those leap of faith and have been hanging on. I have hit the ground after taking them leaps. I have. And that's what happened in this hiatus. Like, there were so many times where I really wanted to get back into media and radio and stuff. And so I took those leaps and I left the job and I'm like, I'm gonna, do it. And this opportunity gonna work and I'm gonna make this work. Or I'm gonna, be the best friend I could be in this relationship that obviously is not reciprocated. But, and have fallen on my face. Have got trampled on, stepped on, stumbled, fallen, hoodwinked, bamboozled. You know what I mean? Swindled, But that was because at the same time I was still operating in the fear. I was still operating in the mistakes, and operating in not truly trusting myself in the alignment that I was being pushed to. Because it took me a while to even get to the point of doing this, or what I'm doing right now, recording this episode and everything. And ever since I made that decision to do this, everything has aligned itself. to make it happen. Making me really look back and reflect and think, what was I so scared of to do this? Like, why was I running and pushing away so hard instead of going here? And the reason what it was still trying to do both. And that's another thing. You can't do both. You either have to be all in on believing in yourself, or staying in that old pattern. You can't do both. You have to really choose which way you're going to go. You have to. Honestly, it's being committed to yourself. And that's why I find it so interesting about like the different relationships and stuff. Like, when people are looking for love or looking for those jobs, and to be so dedicated. We are dedicated to so many things but ourselves. The realization that I had with mine was that one thing about me is, and anybody who really knows me knows it, if I give you my word, that is my bond. Like, if I tell you I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. If I tell you I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna call you. If I tell you I'm going to show up, I will show up. And I would do that a lot. And I remember when it came to doing this podcast or coming back to it again, I kept telling myself, okay, I'm gonna do this day, I'm gonna do this that day. But then I would be so lenient. Or then I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll do it later. And I kept pushing it back. And I sat back for a second. And I'm like, wait, the first person that I'm supposed to give my word to is me. I can give my word to everybody else, to every other situation, to every other instance. But I can't give it to me. There's something wrong in the water. There's something wrong with this. I had to give myself the yes first. I had to give myself the permission first. Nobody else. I had to give myself the love first, the connection first. And the purpose of that process is, what happens is you set the foundation of how you are to not only yourself, but how you move in this world when you do that. That's the purpose of self-love, is that you create the blueprint, you create the foundation, you create the spine that branches out, the roots, honestly, the roots that branches out to everything and every multifaceted aspect of our lives, of your experience, of your spirituality, of your connection, of your body. Not saying that you're not worthy of receiving that, because you definitely are. But you have to teach people how to treat you, how to handle you, how to do that. But if you can't teach your own self that, that's where you mess up. And so that's what I'm saying, is that you have to first define those things for yourself. You first have to analyze what that looks like, and you have to create and go through that process of what that is. So that way, when you do engage in these different areas of life, that you're able to talk about it, that you're able to explain it, that you're able to set those boundaries. And then last, that brings me to my last point. And this one is a constant reminder, and a constant one that I use. But it says, give yourself grace, because you are so strong. There's a part where when you become healed, that you look back at the things you've been through in your life, and you wonder, how in the world did I deal with that? You like, there instantly becomes this regret, this shame that comes with, like, how did I put up with it? How did I not see that? How did I ignore the red flags? How did I let my body get to that point? How did I let this person do that? How did I let this friendship go so untested? How did I let people cross me? Why didn't I correct people? Like, you have all these questions come to you, and like I said, all this shame, all this guilt, all this thing that will create a negative space for you. Who you were in that moment was trying to survive. Who you were in that moment was trying their best to navigate and be who they were. And that person who did that, 9 times out of 10, was your younger self, your inner child, was your inner teenager. And your inner teenager and your inner child were stronger than you would ever imagine. Because it takes such a strong person to deal with the things that like that. Because somewhere in you at that age or at that time knew that something was going to be better. Knew that you had no choice for something to get better. You had no option but to survive that. And the level of strength it takes to have that tenacity, to have that commitment, that's something to be honored. And that's something to value. That's something, honestly, that proves, if it doesn't prove anything else, it proves that you were worthy and that you're still worthy. And that you're worth it. And that's what I had to learn for myself. Like, I remember this came up because another friend I had a conversation, and we were talking about, just the healing that we done and how proud of ourselves we were. But I remember hearing myself say, like, wow, a younger us was so strong, because I couldn't imagine who I am now dealing with that. But after sitting back and listening to that, I was like, wow, that really made me understand when people talk about, like, heal your inner self or connect with your inner child or connect with your inner teenager or the younger you or the past versions of you. That connection I made was understanding how strong and how committed to growth that person was. And after understanding that, I love that person so much. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be right here. If it wasn't for them doing the choices and the things that they done, you would not be where you are right now listening to my podcast. So you were so strong, and I am so proud of you. I'm so happy for you that you're here to listen to me. I'm happy to listen to myself. I'm proud of us. Hey, we here, So it just, in this confession, I just want you to really understand, and giving yourself grace. How you give yourself grace is understanding that when you went through that was great for you. And I'm happy for you for that. I'm happy for us. So yeah. Whew, I know that was a lot. I know that was, so I'm going to let you take that in. So what we're going to do, we're going to do our last musical break of today. And then I'll come back with just my final little thoughts. And yeah. So yeah, but sit in there. Be proud of you, honey. Because honestly, that is just a great freedom to be in that. And it helps you along your healing journey too. So.
Summer of 28, and life is feeling great. Taking back the love that's mine. Stop living just to please. Don't care who's judging me. 'Cause I've got my peace of mind. And I know that life can sometimes be also very stifling, it seems. Sometimes it takes the heavy weight to make us all appreciate our dreams. Now freedom from the dangers of self-pity, misconceptions on what we think we should be. Baby girl, don't you believe everything you hear and see? Come on everybody, that's all good for real. To change, can't no one take my place, and I don't need your okay. Still paying all my dues, tell no I speak all true. Can't no one stop me but me. And I know that life can sometimes be also very stifling, it seems. If life has taught me anything, it's that I don't know everything. And now for me, I've got my okay. Ha! Still paying all my dues. Tell no lies, speak all true. Can't no one stop me but me. And I know that I can sometimes be also very stifling. It seems. But if life has taught me anything, it's that I don't know everything. And now for me, I've got my
She was singing, wasn't she? That was Miss Kia El-Amin, and that was her song called Freedom, and that was the live version of that song. I hope she is doing well. She's a independent artist out of Chicago, where I first heard her in a movie I watched that was shot there, and I love that song so much. But I think it encapsulates everything that I talked about today, because ultimately by understanding these confessions that I gave you in these lessons, that the goal or what it feels like on the other end of that, or where I'm at right now, it is a freedom, and that freedom is available, and that freedom is real for us to have. And that freedom is definitely achievable, and to keep that is to stay steadfast in what we're doing, to stay steadfast in these journeys, and understanding the process and creating a process that works for us, that works for you. If you don't remember anything else from this podcast, or you didn't, as my phone falling, the major thing I want you to take with you is to understand that you are enough, especially when you choose yourself. I'm gonna repeat that just so you get it. You are enough as you are right now, especially when you choose yourself, and you're worth it, because you are worth it. That right now as you are deserving of love. You are deserving of protection. You are deserving of security. And what happens when you are connected to yourself more, and you go along this process of healing, you understand the truth of that. You get to a point where not only you believe it, but that becomes part of your connection. That becomes part of your core. Continue on your healing journeys. Continue to be great. Continue to have those tough conversations with yourself, with each other. Set those boundaries. Understand those boundaries and how they look, but most importantly, understand what that process. Make it all catered to you. So yes. So on that note, that is the end of the show, guys. So I hope you enjoy. I enjoy being here again. If you would like to connect with me, or just say hey, if you just simply type in your search on any social media, I am Lady AC. Once again, all together, I am Lady AC. You should be able to just type that in and find me. But if I need to get specific, I can do that on Facebook.com. It is Queen Lady AC. On Instagram, it is _ I am Lady AC. And Twitter and TikTok is I am Lady AC as well. Okay. If you are in a tough spot right now, and sometimes that healing journey is a little tough, I want to let you know this too shall pass. Keep going. It is worth it in the end, because you're worth it. All right. On that note, y'all have a good rest of your week, good time, and until next time. Live in love. All right. Bye, guys.